So, Super Bowl Sunday, let's talk snacks.
Snacks.
What is your favorite Super Bowl snack?
There's no doubt, I am not a chef, but my wife is phenomenal, and she makes the best nachos on the planet. So nachos are in it. Gotta have some jalapenos on top. She's really good at making sure all the chips get some cheese so that it's not a pile of cheese on top of a pile of chips, and then you get off that top layer and it's nothing but chips. So it's all about the layering process. That's our secret. But gotta have jalapenos, sour cream, chives. But outside of that, pretty simple. We don't throw a bunch of meat on there. We don't, no beans, no rice. Really simple, very California nachos.
California nachos.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk Cincinnati.
Yeah.
All right, Skyline Chili.
Mm-hmm.
All right, have you had before?
Yes.
And thoughts?
I've had it. I lived there for 10 years and had it one time.
10 years. One time.
That should sum it up, right?
Yeah. That basically gives you your thoughts. So, this is has to be such a cool moment for you after spending so much time in Cincinnati to see the Bengals this far.
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's just a shock. I mean, I don't think anybody expected this roster to be here back in September. I don't think anybody thought it could happen in December as the season was, winding down and the playoffs were starting. So it's just so cool to see the reaction of the Bengals fans. And that fan base has been so passionate. They've stuck by them for 30 years. It's been 30-something years since they've been to a Super Bowl. And that fan base understands football. They know it. They know when to be loud in stadiums. They know when to be quiet. They understand all the nuances of the game. So it's a great place to play from the player's perspective because the fan base is so knowledgeable. They're not just like, let's show up for a game on Sunday. They watch every game. They read the press clippings. They follow the team on the internet. So to see them finally get the chance to be celebrated in that city, get a chance to be celebrated in a place like LA and around the world is more than I expected, and I'm just happy for that fan base.
2003 was playoff year, right?
No, that was the year I got drafted there, and then the next year we didn't go to the playoffs, and the next year we did. So
2005, that's right. 2005 was the playoff year. What was that ride like? I mean, I know obviously it was quite some time ago, but what was that ride like at the time? Because it gives you some perspective of what Joe Burrow and the organization is going through now.
Totally, yeah. Nobody expected us to win the division. We were known as the Bengals. I mean, nobody thought we hadn't been good for 20 years. And so there was no excitement, there was no hype. And then as the season started, we won our opener, and we won the second. We started, we got rolling. I think we ended up 11-5, maybe 12-4, 11-5, something like that. And just played really well in the division. And I'll never forget pulling up to the stadium. It was the first home playoff Bengals game in I don't know how many years. And we were like the 1 o'clock Saturday game or maybe Sunday game, so the day game. And I just remember pulling in the parking lot early. I used to get to the stadium super early and get in the hot tub and rest and just kind of get ready. And the parking lot was slammed. There was barbecue. People were making breakfast, literally at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. The parking lot was full. There was more fans already at the stadium outside the game than could actually fit inside the stadium. So people were just there to be in that atmosphere, in that environment. It was just electric, and I can only imagine it's just totally intensified after the Bengals won their home playoff game against the Raiders, and we're then going on the road to play the Titans. And just knowing how passionate that city is, how excited that city, how deserving that city is of a winner, I know that place is just going bananas.
Thoughts on Joe Burrow? I mean, obviously, the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to watch it?
He's unbelievable. They have probably one of the weaker offensive lines in the league. He's been sacked the most in the league this year. And so, he's tough. He's smart the way he's played. But I think the thing that jumps out at you most is just how calm he is. He is always so poised, regardless if he's getting sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans on the road or if he's up 21 points. He's just the same guy consistently.
Yeah, I think I read earlier today. I mean, over 50 sacks this year. And I think I heard you say that it was demoralizing.
Yeah.
What is your word of advice for him to kind of keep his head up?
I mean, the only thing, I just don't change. Be exactly who you've been all year long. He's been so consistent. He's been such a solid player. He's been a rock, and a leader for a young team. And he's one of the younger guys on the team. And he's just been such a rock for that team and for that group. Don't change. Just be himself. Those guys will follow him, and that's their best chance of winning this game.
USC, huge USC football last couple days. Lincoln Riley and everything like that. What are your thoughts as things start to come together for your?
Pumped. I'm pumped, man. Since Pete Carroll left, there just hasn't been the attention, the electricity around the program that we've had for so long, and we lost it, and we lost the respect from the conference, from the country. We lost, that feeling that teams, when they came to the Coliseum, it was hard to win at the Coliseum. It very rarely happened. Now everybody, the last 5 years, people have been coming here and knocking us off over and over and over again, and we've lost all of that. So I think Lincoln brings a certain level of respect from the rest of the country, from the SEC, from the Big 12, from the Pac-12. Everybody understands that this is kind of the sleeping giant. It's such an how easy is it to recruit to this when you're recruiting to Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa or Athens, Georgia? This is just a sleeping giant, and it just needed the right guy at the helm, and I think he's the guy.
Any words of advice to Caleb Williams?
He doesn't need my advice. I mean, since he stepped on the field at OU, he's just been spectacular.
Yeah.
He followed his coach. He knew what he was getting. He knew the system. He's moving in. He's maybe moving to a new team with new teammates and a new environment. But there's nothing like moving into that new environment where everything's different except for the playbook. And that is the best thing he can have going is just some continuity in the way you call plays. What Coach Riley expects out of certain plays, what he expects out of certain concepts, what he expects you to do against certain defense. There's so much familiarity there in such a new situation. That's the best thing he's got going.
And then last question. You are one of the few people that has the unique experience of playing in Cincinnati and Los Angeles, which, predicates Sunday.
Yeah.
Gotta ask, who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for the Bengals. Like I said earlier, nothing. That city, I can't imagine that city on a championship parade. And the excitement and the energy in that city. I just don't know if they have the firepower. You look at this Rams roster. It's all pros, it's all stars, it's highest paid guys, their positions. There's a bunch of guys that are probably going to go into the Hall of Fame. And the Bengals are young, and they don't have that kind of a roster. The Rams were here 4 years ago. So there's a big group of that team that's been in this environment. They've lost this game. They know how big this game is. They know how hard it is to lose. So I just don't think my heart's in Cincinnati. I just don't think they have the firepower to win.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.